Hey guys, Xlice here, currently on vacation in Japan, so this guide video is going to be a bit scuffed. I have a little downtime on my vacation, so don't worry, I'm not holding myself hostage by working when I shouldn't be. Let's run through Hiyuki. Obviously, not going to be a professional video like my others, but hopefully this is useful for y'all. If I do miss some crucial things about her, just let me know in the comments, and I'll update the pinned comment to reflect important things not covered in the video. Let's break down everything you need to know about Hiyuki, how to play, how to build, how to team, how to Hiyuki. Disclaimer that things are subject to change for release. Without way, let's build the best Hiyuki. Alright, so she is a main DPS with some really nice voice line ASMR. She uses negative status called Glacial Chafe, so she's going to enjoy supports like Chisa, and her damage type is Resonance Liberation. So supports like Lynae are also quite welcome. Now, if you don't have these characters, don't worry. Just use the standard Shorekeeper Mornia combination with a Resonance Liberation buffer or just a general sub DPS. Let's go through a rotation real quick. So I'm going to show you with intro, and then I'll break things down. If you're wondering about my ping, by the way, it's because my creator server account is on NA, but I'm currently overseas in Japan. Alright, so setup supports first. Intro plus basic combo will fill your initial Forte bar, and you're going to hold that left click to shoot some arrows. And then that'll unlock her first ult. When you ult, her Forte bar changes to a beautiful katana icon. Now, first do an entire basic 5-string first. With basic 3, 4, and 5 will apply Glacial Chafe, and all of this basic attack string is considered liberation damage when you're an ult. Then use both versions of her Resonance skill to stack up more of her Katana Forte. After the second one, her Forte should be full, and you'll see 3 dual slash icons on the Forte bar. Now either hold E or dodge to activate her special EI stance and send 3 normal attacks. If this is done properly, you can enhance heavy, and then finally ult finisher. So ult finisher is a bit special. You can hold it to use special stacks that she has to enhance its damage, or you can just tap it. Personally, I think it's really cool to hold it, and I just like the cinema effect. Or you can just tap to make things easier and use the unbuffed version. Don't worry though, when Hiyuki is maxed buff on her ult, just tapping will automatically use the gigabuff version as quality of life. So you can basically just tap it if you don't really care to like min-max the stuff. I personally just like holding though. That's gonna complete her rotation. Alright, so now there are some extra things you can do during her rotation if you aren't getting smooth execution like you just saw. If you don't have her intro skill, simply use her normal resonance skill and basic until it's full. When you're in ultimate, if you EI stance early but you don't have those 3 Forte icons, that's okay. Just first use them up, then continue to basic until you get the last couple icons, and then dodge to get back into the stance. You want to use 3 of those icons before you can enhance heavy into her ult finisher. And of course, you're going to ult finisher, either tap or hold depending on how you like to play. If you have S2 or higher, you can always tap because she'll just use her gigabuff ult because you'll have nice stacks. Okay, so some extra things to mention here. Hiyuki converts Glacial Chafe inflicted by anyone on the team to Glacial Bite. All Glacial Bite does is add extra instances of damage every time the bite is inflicted. So it's kind of like a mini detonation proc on every debuff infliction, or something like death by 1,000 cuts. Similar concept, just a lot of extra damage. So Hiyuki's intro instantly stacks her initial Forte as long as you basic right after, which allows her to enter ult state almost instantly. And then for outro skill, she provides 20% glacial damage amp against targets affected by Glacial Chafe. Okay, so extra buffs that she's getting. Middle Forte is going to give her a stack of Snow Rust when a teammate applies Glacial Chafe or Havoc Bane. Max 3 stacks, 1 per resonator. Snow Rust grants buffs depending on the stack count. 1 stack is 30% Glacial Bite damage amp and 40% Hiyuki crit damage. 2 stacks is all the bonuses from 1 stack and an extra instance of Glacial Bite damage every time the debuff is inflicted. And then for 3 stacks, all bonuses from 1 and 2, and then an extra 30% Glacial Chafe damage amp for 60% total when combined with the first stack buff. Currently, we can only get 2 stacks with Chisa on the team, or you can get more with sequence nodes. And finally, top 14 node. When you're out of combat for a bit, gain 1 Snowblade stack. Snowblade buffs her ultimate, max 3 stacks. This is what is used when you hold liberation and charge it up. If she is 3 stacks of this, just tapping ult will consume it all. But if you have 2 or less, you need to hold ult to use it. She gets 1 stack of this every time she uses enhanced heavy. Okay, so that basically covers it. She does lots of damage, she's a Glacial Chafe main DPS, and a music to your ears when she says any voice line. For Forte priority, honestly, it's pretty close in terms of damage. She's also a hyper carry, but yeah, refer on screen for exact investment. Here's a breakdown of the multipliers. For ultimate, you're going to use it once per rotation. It has a 400% initial and a 1000% base damage. That's the 0 Snowforged Blade one. And then 8% extra on every Snowforged Blade stack. Minimum, you're going to do 1400% multiplier and then add 800% for extra holds. For the Forte circuit, you're going to use 3 of these attacks per rotation for a 1300% total multiplier. And then for normal attacks, you're going to do 1 full basic 5-string normal ult, which is about 600% multiplier. And then also she's going to do enhanced heavy damage, which is another 600%. So it's like 1200% total. And then for resonance skill, we're going to use 1 Jade Cleave and 1 Petalfall, which is about 500% multiplier. And the intro, you're going to use 1 time. It's not much to it. Okay, weapons. So her signature is pretty nice. 24.3% crit rate, 12% attack, 28% glacial damage amp, 10% liberation ignore defense. And I do believe there is a further 20% glacial chafe damage amp for all nearby resonators. Overall, quite a juicy signature with strong synergies with her liberation damage and general glacial damage. Otherwise, I took a look at her other weapons and there really isn't much to go around here. Emerald of Genesis will probably be the default choice for most of you guys not going for her signature. Otherwise, any other 5-star can be a stat stick, but yeah, nothing else has a passive that's like super synergistic with her kit because none of these provide resonance liberation damage and definitely none of them do glacial chafe. So yeah. Alright, so for Echoes, we've got a nice signature set for her. 5-piece Snowfall. This set is split up into a main DPS benefit or a sub DPS one. So the 5-piece will provide either 25% crit rate, or it'll provide 25% glacial damage bonus to the incoming resonator. Overall, for her, it's really nice because 25% crit rate is insane and will be 100% uptime for Hiyuki. Given that this set does have 2 separate bonuses, I can definitely see a future Glacial Chief sub DPS for her specifically. Now, if you don't have this yet, throw on the usual 5-piece Frost set or the old 5-piece Frosty Resolve set that Carlota uses. The bonuses from Frosty Resolve aren't really that great because resonant skill damage is useless for her, but if you have old pieces lying around, they can be usable. For main stats, go crit damage 4 cost, glacial or attack 3 cost, and attack 1 cost. Use the Threnodian Voidborn 4 cost for 12% glacial damage and 12% live damage bonus. Since the new 5-piece set does provide 25% crit rate, she really isn't ever in danger of not having decent crit, so crit damage body is pretty easy to guarantee. Alright, so quick stat check. With fixed echoes providing double crit, attack, and regen, this is what mine's got. 2.6k attack, 134 ER, 68.8 crit rate, 257 crit damage. Her effective crit rate with 5-piece active is already 93.8%, so she'll easily hit 100% crit rate in combat with higher rolled crit rate substats. Hyper optimized builds aim for exactly 75% crit rate in the stat page and 275 plus crit damage, because that will be 100% crit rate in combat. For substat priority, go crit rate until 75%, then crit damage, attack, lib, and then energy regen. Okay, so brief sequence node breakdown. S1, all of her in ultimate normal attacks gain 2.2 final damage. Basic 3 has increased range. Basic 4 and 5 grant immunity interruption, and then basic 1, 2 now also inflict glacial chafe. So originally in her base kit, only 3, 4, and 5 apply glacial chafe, but with her S1, her entire basic 1 to 5 chain now does. This one is mainly just to improve that left click damage. S2, so her EI form gains 2.2x final damage increase. Out of combat for 4 seconds, grants a couple things. It grants all 3 stacks of Snowforged Blade for her ultimate. It also restores 3 charges of Frost Hardened EI. It also restores both charges of her enhanced skill, and those enhanced skill charges provide 50 out of 300 of her Forte bar. So this is all pretty generally nice for overworld stuff. S3, +1 Snow Rust stack, which grants her buffs based on the number of Glacial Chafe or Havoc Bane applies on the team. Previous max stack was 2 out of 3, but with S3, she can reach 3 stacks with just Chisa on the team. If at least 2 Snow Rust stacks are present, Glacial Bite gains a 488% damage multiplier increase. And then also, her heavy attack multipliers gain a 2.6x final damage increase. S4, 20% damage bonus for all resonators and 80% max HP restoration on enhanced skill cast. This adds a bit of self-sustain into her kit, which is quite unique for an S4. Usually only the 20% stat bonus is provided. And then S5, this is definitely her weakest sequence. This gives 1.8x final damage to her resonant skill multipliers, which are so-so. And then S6, so crit damage of both of her ultimates increased by 500%. So the Snow Rust effect now changes from her applying Glacial Chafe to anyone on the team applying it. 2 stacks of Snow Rust now gives an extra 40% crit damage, and then 3 stacks now also adds 1.25 final damage to all sources of Glacial Bite damage. So when we take a look at these, each sequence node is basically responsible for one aspect of her damage. S1 hits the normal attacks and improves her Glacial Chafe application. S2 increases her EI strike damage. S3 increases heavy attack multipliers and Glacial Chafe damage. S4 provides damage bonus and self-sustain. S5 increases skill multipliers, and S6 S6 gives ultimate crit damage. What I did notice is that there are no liberation damage multiplier increases here. Instead, they opt for 500% crit damage and also maxed Snowforge blade stacks, which automatically scales her ult to hitting the super big hits. So if I have time, I will check out S0 to S6 on my second channel. So I just have a little bit of time to go over teams and showcases. Normally I'd prepare at least 2 for you guys, but since I'm not at my usual setup, as this is a laptop and this guide is brought to you by Japan, we're just going a 1 team showcase. So TLDR for teams, by the way, Chisa is optimal for support. She grants max Snow Rust potential to Hiyuki, which just buffs her. Havoc Bane is also by default really nice to have, and Hiyuki gets to apply more Glacial Chafe this way. For sub DPS, basically whatever Amy or Amith could have used in her team comp, Hiyuki can also use. They are both Liberation damage types, so they share the same support unit pool. Lynae will be the best for now, but I do anticipate a future Glacial Chafe dedicated sub DPS because the 5-piece Snowfall set has 2 different bonuses on it. Otherwise, use Genshin or anyone else who buffs Liberation damage. Or, you don't have to. You can just add another rotational DPS. Honestly, no big deal, as long as Chisa is included. Chisa is basically the only real important teammate for her to have. Okay, so here's one showcase with the premium team. S0 R1 across the board, Chisa and Lynae are on signature echo sets, so let's just go. Usual support setup with Chisa and Lynae. By the way, huge apologies for the FPS drops and lower quality. This is all recorded on a 5-year-old laptop with mediocre specs. Just try my best in the future. I mean, I don't travel that much, but probably can get something. This was pretty last minute. Anyways, Hiyuki's rotation is going to go fast here. We're just aiming to blast damage. So, her rotation, Idra plus basic for that Forte bar, into heavy attack, into that first ultimate.
Take your final dive.
Then we're going to cast our Echo skill whenever you want. Full basic 1-5 chain for maximum Glacial Chafe. Then we have time to Tomb Break right after that. Then spam your 2 E charges to fill the rest of the Forte, and hold E right after the second E that you press to proc EI stance. If you don't succeed with this, you're going to need to do a dodge to activate the stance. Then you send 3 normal attacks, use your Forte, then heavy attack, then hold Liberation and do big damage. As you guys will notice here, holding her Liberation does stop the timers, by the way, just so there's no DPS loss from holding versus tapping. May the Sakura incinerate. Absolute cinema. Okay, honestly, as this plays, you guys have to play her on max voice volume. It is liquid gold ASMR, I'm telling you, bro. Does not get tiring at all. Okay, quick snapshot back to that first rotation. It did about 70%-ish of the boss HP in 1 rotation. We clear here also before she can even send a second ult. So yeah, she's doing pretty good damage. First ultimate was 120 plus 500k at S0 R1 for a total of 620,000 damage. This is a 2-stack ultimate where her ult can stack up to 3 times, so this could be even stronger. Alright, so that wraps up showcases. If you guys have seen my previous guide videos, you'll know that this team DPS is pretty damn good. Again, really apologize for not being able to provide a high quality guide this time around. I rarely travel and my wife had an event to attend over in Japan, so yeah, I'm recording this from a hotel room. Appreciate you guys for watching nonetheless. I hope you guys learn how to play Hiyuki and just enjoy her peak cinema. She is a really strong DPS in my opinion, and she still has room to improve, especially when a Glacial Chafe sub DPS arrives, and she just has absolutely gorgeous animations. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and sub as usual. Let me know in the comments what you think of her and what you think of my setup. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.